I seriously believe that the altcoin season is about to hit us like crazy. But if we're not only focusing on altcoins, if we're not only focusing on the price, what exactly is going on? Is there anything else that's really worth getting excited about? Well, let me tell you, it's crazy out there. For example, just now some news came out that the Nasdaq had filed with the SEC to enable the trading of tokenized securities. Ladies and gentlemen, we are making massive steps when it comes to this cryptocurrency world. It's all starting to become one, where basically the whole TradFi infrastructure is starting to flow into Web3 like never before. And here's the kicker. You will not notice it that much on a day-by-day basis. It's something you mostly notice from week to week, month to month, or mostly just when new articles come out. An example here being this. Gemini secures Nasdaq as a strategic investor ahead of their IPO. So are you getting that? Nasdaq is investing in Gemini here? Like what? To me, it's still quite unbelievable the steps we have made over the past couple of months. It all started, for the most part, with the President of the United States, funnily enough, launching a meme coin, but in reality, it started a while before that. The moment the Bitcoin ETF got approved, ever since then, it's just been a really easy road upwards, and that's the thing. I keep on saying, I'm just buying like a madman, regardless of what's happening in the price, let's call it. So it doesn't matter if the price goes up or down, with the main reason being, I am seeing these rails being built in the background. When you really start breaking it down, like it's not really on the news everywhere. Not everybody is talking about it. And mostly the crypto market has a massive downfall after things get too exciting. Not based on, news or new acquisitions or things of that sort, but retail hype and retail excitement. This run, the only thing I see being different is that perhaps one of the crazy things that's going to bring us down is actually institutional hype, but that's not regulatory. It's mostly this new treasury bubble that's building itself up. And what I'm referring to then is all these massive new, we're good. All these massive new Solana buys and actually different ETFs as well that have all been brought up. I'm not only talking about ETFs, by the way. I'm talking mostly about funds that are raising to store these new coins in their treasury. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 to chair Solana DAT by Multicoin, Galaxy, and Jump, $1 billion worth of funding targeted. I mean, we've seen the same for so many different companies right now. They are raising like madmen, and they're just getting more and more tokens and never letting them go. And thus far, when you really start breaking it down, most of the top tier companies, all they've ever done is just be really convinced in an asset. It could be a Bitcoin, it could be an XRP, it could be a Solana, and hold it through. Now, on this channel, as I've said before, I basically have started perfecting my own strategy by, instead of doing it just the hodling way, I actually buy into bots nowadays. I will not talk about it today too much, but for the most part, you can see here, we bought some WorldCoin now. If I was just holding it, I would have missed out on a pretty crazy amount of gains that I've now gotten because of me opening the bot. For example, here, let's quickly move on. I have put about a couple $100 in, and you can see it actually, throughout the last 24 hours, already cashed out about 4% just off of the volatility alone. And that's beside, of course, the price going up like 30% or something like that. We still made those gains, sure, but we also made cashed out profits automatically, and that's the nice thing of what this bot does over time. You can see over a year how much that would be. And if you also want to join in on any of my trading strategies, I've got links down below. First link to sign up, second link to claim a bonus, and a third for a nice competition going on for the next few days where you might be able to win upwards of $5,000. To continue on with the news that's going on, the first ever Dogecoin ETF nears approval with 93% likelihood. I still expect most of the top altcoins to get themselves an ETF listing over the next few weeks, and I still actually think it'll happen before the peak of the season, meaning that this is just something that theoretically speaking could happen because of the crazy new interest from retail. But I think it's just all these different crypto companies, they all want to get themselves an ETF, but it's just the regulation that's taking some time. It's all set in stone. They will all happen. And I keep saying, similarly with these treasury situations, all we got to do is just realize massive amounts of money is coming to these probably in the next few months. Why not front run it? Why not buy in anticipation of what's bound to happen? Because realize that the major things happening really quickly. Let me see if I can quickly scroll through to where I've got the news right here. Yesterday, of course, the news about the hack was a pretty big deal, but the major things that are happening right now that I care about the most Oh, got stuck there for a little second, so I'm not sure that was good. But anyway, but the major thing that everybody's watching and what everybody is teaming to front run right now, non-farm payrolls, PPI, CPI, and FOMC, people are buying in massively into the markets right now with the anticipation that this is going to set a new bullish precedent. And I mean, at the same time, by the way, even though you might now believe, which is quite truthful, that the crypto market has no volatility, if I look at any coin right now, literally nothing is happening. Ethereum, if I look at it on a 12-hour basis here, for example, you can see ever since like the last, let's call it week or so, it's really nothing happening. This range right here is nothing. It's a range of just a few percent, like 5% or so. Whereas with Ethereum previously, if you take a look at this throughout the last 12-hour periods every single time, it was so much more volatile. And right now, it's basically flatlined, especially this last little week right here. And it's getting smaller and smaller by the day. We are really, really waiting here for some sort of breakout to happen, which is, like I said earlier, why I'm buying so freaking much. But to get back to it, at the same time, everybody's trying to, let me quickly see where the tweet was at. Everybody's trying to front run all these announcements. But today, the stock market really didn't do so well. Now, why is that perhaps? Like, what's going on there? When you really start breaking it down, if everybody's anticipating the same thing, it can't necessarily continue to go up. Now, on the opposite side, I see articles of saying here, stock market, Dow, S&P, drift, blah, 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 blah. Do you really think that even though they are trying to front run it, and it's like front running the front running, that the market won't actually push itself higher throughout the next couple of weeks? Because what I was trying to say is, there's all this anticipation of what people are doing in preparation. But similarly with crypto, similarly here with all this new data coming out, I still think that the people that are just going with the flow of realizing what's bound to happen next, even though on the short term they may get a little bit of a shake, right? Because people are trying to counter that front running, I still think they are in the right. They're in the right path. Ponzi here said, we have quite the next few days ahead of us. I believe that these next few events will clear up a lot of disagreement between bears and bulls. Resolution soon. Something amazing is about to happen. Now, at the same time, when it comes to crypto, there's always crime. There's always shenanigans. Some of that is this right here. There's a coin called 𝗕𝗓𝗄. I don't know anything about it, but I've just seen it go trending and trending and more trending. But what in the freaking world is going on? It's in the billions of dollars worth of valuation, and I've got no idea what it is. All I see is that people are calling this another Binance manipulation of sort, and many people have gotten wrecked shorting it in the meantime, which brings me back to my earlier point of, if you don't know what you're doing, right? If this whole crypto stuff is not your favorite forte, in the sense you're not focusing on it every single day, check out the link down below to 𝗂onex. It's like a crypto exchange, but mostly primarily focusing on bots. And I cover it every single day on the channel because it's quite an easy entry, right? We've also got a new Discord set up. A link to Discord is down below where you guys can discuss everything with one another. But if you scroll through here, for some reason I can't see that many right here. Let's try it again. Let me just quickly refresh this over here. But I cover it every single day because it's the easiest trading method that I've found. Again, that's not to say I don't have my normal longs. Here you can see we've got some nice Ethereum and some nice XRP long open over on there. Or if you were to go to Bluefin, let me quickly open this up as well. Give it a little second. It's black. Here we go. I've got my nice longs over on here as well. We've got ourselves $1 million XRP long. We've got multiple different positions totaling $300,000 worth of profit over on Bluefin right here. Let's see, WeX. I can't see the profit that we're in. I guess we're about maybe $400 in profit or so. And then over on Bybit, we are also a little bit in the profit on this account. I'm not so sure. 40, 60. This is too much counting, ladies and gentlemen. I'd say it's about 200,000 in the plus and about, let's say 10, 11, 18, 19, let's call it 19. Let's say call it 40 in the minus. So you do the math on it, maybe like a plus 160,000 on this. But relatively, well, the bots, I think, are way more interesting. Now, I already said before, I'm opening up a ton of new bots. And if you scroll through here, I've opened a lot throughout the past 24 hours. Why? First of all, because many of these were requested. Many of them are doing good right now. This does not say anything about the near future, though. But mostly because I realized, you know, even if I have a few losers out there, generally speaking, your real winners will make up for every single one that's bad in the back end. By the way, all of a sudden here, 𝗓𝗂 has started to pop off, it seems, huh? That's actually quite interesting because 𝗓𝗂 is not a coin I've covered that often, and I don't think the bots I've got open for them are that large, but I still have a couple tens of thousands of dollars worth of 𝗓𝗂 I still wanted to transfer over yesterday, which I didn't do, but I guess I'll have to get to moving on that. If we quickly scroll through, let's see if I have an 𝗓𝗂 bot. I mean, I must have one, but I'm not so sure what the settings on it are. We can see we put a couple $1,000s in, and all of a sudden, 𝗓𝗂 has been popping off, and we can see that indeed here, take a look at that, right? Our $6,000 we put in a few months ago is right now $10,000 in the plus. But more importantly, it's already been able to cash out 30% in the past few months, just based on volatility alone, which is why I find it so beautiful. XRP slowly but surely climbing up, as you can see, just from the grid profits alone, almost being able to cash out 10%, which is huge, because if XRP now recovers back to where we last compounded at, all of a sudden now we can compound a significant more to the 10K to a million challenge. How I see this is, we had 10K, right now we are at 45. Yes, we're down on the P&L side, but all we gotta do is wait for it to come back to entry, because we are building up that capital piece by piece by piece. And all I got to do right now real quick is just go to these bot stacks, because as you can see, I've been building different stacks here, and add all the different bots to it so we can get a better overview of exactly what we got going on, what the situation is. And probably today I'll be opening even a few more different bots. I mean, just whatever altcoins I've got left, I'll open something for. Or if I look through the comments and see some of them have been requested, I'll also get those done, because I think it's better to have more rather than less. All right, so a little update on the situation. As we can see, now we've got 160 plus 40, so let's just say 200, 300, 420, plus maybe a little bit. I'm not sure if this is already included. So about $420,000 in these bots before leverage. On average, I've got about 5 times leverage, but of course, not every single one of them is utilizing that. That's only what it's utilized if it goes towards the bottom. And that can be easily seen when you take a look at the amount of ETH, for example, that it is long for. Or if we go to a coin bot stack, it's a little bit even easier to see. We only put in 0.1 BTC at 5x leverage. Why is it only 0.2 BTC long then? Only 2x effective leverage. That's because it keeps the majority of those coins to buy the dip. It just means that it has more potential to buy. But again, that has relative to the range as well. For example, 2500 SUI is not even 2x leverage right here, as you can see. If we go towards Ethereum here, 8 Ethereum in, 16, so it's a little bit over 2x leverage. And I think it's quite clear. So 12.5 thousand XRP, only 24,000 XRP long. You get it. But still, some of the coolest things I've ever found. Links are down below. Like I said, if you want more info, check out Discord. And last but not least, I will quickly say, if you're into trading, but you're a little bit skeptical about your first trade, WeX is giving out some pretty nice free trades. Just check out the link down below on exactly the details. I've got it pinned somewhere, so check in the description. It's pretty cool. It's different than my bots. It's just for people that want to get started. Might be a nice little incentive to do so, because it helps out with your risk reward, helps out with your ratios. And that's about it for this little crypto update for right now. That's all the news going on. Make sure you watch, for the next week is going to be crucial. Very important. Everybody's going to be watching this every second of the day, right? These are all your dates you're going to be watching out for. Starting basically from today with the NFP, PPI tomorrow, CPI afterwards, and FOMC next week. Coming up, take a look at that, and that's about it.